My name's Scott Petty.
I'm Daniel Burr.
I'm Carly Ching.
This is our Engineering 6 Spring Quarter 2016 Project 2 Audio Sampler. We're Team Mushroom Battalion.
I'm Scott Putty. I'm going to talk to you guys about the overall graphical interface, and then I'm going to talk about how to load your WAV files to start the process. So first we're going to go over kind of a background of everything on the screen. We have stereo and mono buttons to change your files. You can load your files into different samples, and then you can put effects on these samples. You can cut the sample size, and then you can play, stop, resume them in the control panel. And then you can also create your own samples with the keyboard and tone generator, where you can select octave, wave type, sound length, and you'll see a graph of that. And also we have a graph here that'll show the graph of your selected sample. So first, to start, you're going to want to hit the browse button to load your file, and it'll bring up all your WAV files in your directory. So we'll choose our first one. We're going to select sample 1 to load that into. We'll click load, and it'll pop up, and then it'll have a little text box beneath showing what you put in. So then we'll grab our second one. We'll select sample 2, and then we'll load it, and it'll pop up. And then we'll select our third one, and we'll put it into sample 3, and we'll load it. Then we'll select one more, and we'll put our fourth one into sample 4. So you can see which sample you put into what spot, and if you click on them, you can see their graphs. They'll each pop up, and that'll be a little different depending on the song. And then you can move on from there, and you can edit them and affect them in different ways.
I'm Daniel Burr, and I'm going to be talking about the control panel and the effects for the songs. So first, you're going to pick a sample from the sample box by clicking on the sample and then choosing what you want to do with it. So in this case, pressing play and then stop to stop it. Or you can select a sample, play it, pause it, and resume it, and stop. So now we're going to add the effects to songs. So our effects for this audio program are delay, double speed, remove vocals, tone control, reverse, and slow down. So to first edit a sample, you select the sample number that you'd like to change. So in this case 1. And if we want to remove vocals and make it go twice as fast, then we click these buttons. And then to play it, we select it and press play. Then, to show more effects, we select sample 2 and slow it down and alter the tone. We get Then, for another one, select sample 3, and we delay and reverse. Then, and then for the last one, if we double speed more than once, then we get, but if the user attempts to go more than twice, they will get an error message that shows them that they can't. So the max time to double in this audio sampler is twice.
Samples can also be edited using the cutting function. So we're going to load just a plain version of one of our songs first. So we'll choose Dreams this time using the load file that I showed you earlier. So we're going to load this into sample 5. So you go to your cutting function, you select that sample. We're going to select sample 5, and the length of that song will come up, which is 19.6 seconds. This is just the original file itself, as you can see with the graph. So if we want to edit this, we can choose any time between 0 and 19 seconds. So let's say we'll start it at 5 seconds, and we'll end it at 11 seconds. So when we push this button, it'll edit the sample, and makes it 6 seconds long. And then we click 5, and you'll see the graph gets cut off because it's edited. And then we play. And that was just our 6-second cut sample. So this button can work for any sample that you have already affected and added other effects to or not. So we can go back to our sample 1 that we put the effects on earlier. So we'll choose sample 1 and see it's 9.8 seconds long because we put a double speed on it, so it went half as long. So let's say we want this one from 5 to 11. We wouldn't be able to do that because 11 is bigger than 8, so we should get an error. So we get a final time has exceeded the time of the sample. So we'll change the end time to, say, 8 seconds. And now we'll edit it, and it'll become 3 seconds long. So we'll choose sample 1. Now we only have our 3-second long sample, and then we'll play that. So it still has all the effects, and it was cut to be only 3 seconds long.
Hi, I'm Carly, and I'll be explaining the stereo and mono functions and the keyboard. So with the stereo and mono function, you can have either stereo or mono selected. When you have stereo selected, your sample will display both the first column and the second column on the graph. If you have mono selected, it'll only display the average between the two. When you have stereo selected and you play it, it'll be your standard WAV file, but if you have mono selected, it'll only play the average between the two columns. So this is in stereo. And then this is in mono. You can't really hear too much of a difference between the two, but mathematically it does make a difference. So with the keyboard, you can select a sample, octave, wave type, sound length, or amplitude. If you don't have your octave, wave type, sound length, or amplitude selected initially, and you try and press a key, you'll get 3 errors. So here are your errors: sound length and amplitude, wave type, and octave. Once you select these, you'll be able to produce sound with your keyboard. And once you press a key, it'll produce your plot. So if you change your wave type, so let's take a look at the square. It produces a different sound as well as a different graph. And the same with the sawtooth. So once you select a sample, it'll go back and save it into your sample button. So let's play a scale and save that. Okay, so essentially what just happened is after you successively press each button, it saves it directly into your sample button. So once that's completed, you can click on your sample, it'll display the graph, and then you can press play. Okay, and then you can also alter your samples with effects. So let's say we want to do double speed. Just sped that up.